Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm Susan, your intuitive, and this is your tarot and astrology reading for the month of July. Cancer season 2025. Fellow water sign coming at you. We're going to get right into your reading. Ooh. Death. Like, why is that exciting? It's you. If you're new here, this is the Scorpio card. Coming into this season, you feel the change in the air. You feel like yourself. You feel like you're meeting people for who they really are at times, and you feel like maybe you're meeting yourself for who you really are right now, and whichever part of the transformation you're going through, but mostly, importantly, essentially, Scorpio, your capacity to move forward, your competency, yes, while vulnerable, while perhaps speaking your mind. For some of you, it's not so much speaking your mind, it's more about moving on what you've been thinking about, and that's a part of this transformation. Wherever you felt stuck or where there was resistance, control, whatever the case may be for you, there is air there, there's movement there, there's life there, there's a current there, and ooh, lots of cards just fell out. Let's see what we got here. I'm just gonna make sure these are gonna go on the top for now. Okay. So the High Priestess, Four of Wands, King of Cups comes out to share with you that this is what your intuition looks like in real time. So Scorpio and Scorpio placements, all depending, usually share, or you go through something sooner than the collective. Being partially ruled by Pluto, Pluto rules the masses. So you have this intimate, because it's a very intimate sign, deep, connective, sensual, sexual, rules the sex organs. And you have Pluto, the masses, the transformation that an intimate relationship or intimate moment or an important, and the depth to a moment, the depth to a realization that you now think about and move forward with, and how that not only heals and transforms your psyche, it allows for this rest that you've perhaps had in your mind about what family looks like, or what it looks like to have enjoyment with these people, with the people you're closest to, from where you come from, your collective, right, as opposed to the mass, your collective, your community. Scorpio rising, Mars is now in your 11th house, and that is your community, your connection to good fortune, also money as well. It seems as though you're really laying a foundation of deep trust with the people in your life, that whether you've known them your whole life, half of your life, 5 years, a few years, your relationship to trust and to this person is growing in a place where, if you're not married, you're thinking about marriage, you're thinking about your future together, you're getting a lot of insight about how this trust and developing this trust, whether it's you also entering a business partnership, whether it be with the person that you're with or in the future, there's just this trust of life in the fruits of your labor and what you're capable of, and the way that you see life, whether you call it strategic or not. It's it's you seeing your pace, it's you seeing your development, and it's you and being able to enjoy that now and truthfully enjoy it in a way where your nervous system feels relaxed. So yes, you're going through a transformation, but this is another layer because there's a part of you that also feels, it's not that you're just comfortable in change and constant transformation. It's not that at all. It's now that if you've been meeting yourself where you're at and you've been honoring your sensitivities, that can become your even more so gifts, because sensitivities can become skills. They are gifts. But before that, you have to harness their energy. And this is something I love about Scorpio and Mars, and how Mars is your ruler and what that looks like. And then it also equates to Pluto. But it's how you're able to harness and discipline yourself and your energy, because you know that when you're going to move quick, you're going to move fast, and it's going to go so far. And you can kind of see how far it's going to go so that you can then conserve your energy. And that's what it is, conservation, and the competency that comes from that conservation and knowing what that looks like. Because you've had to probably pull back and be less reactive. Uranus has been across from you for 8 years, and it's finally going to move. And this deep healing that you'll continue to experience will also be able to bring innovation, ways of communication, even with communication. But I'd say right now that you're really in a place of a deeper sense of trust. You might even feel very psychic and intuitive. Like if you're living with someone, or you're married, or you're with someone you're deeply connected with, you may start to experience having the same thoughts and coming home at the end of the day with those thoughts. And if you're single and you've been wanting to develop a relationship or be in a relationship with someone, you following your intuition will almost bring you there. And it could be even at a wedding or at a celebration, or when you're enjoying the abundance of family, that after or during or something can happen where it's like you even draw this person to you. They could be a Capricorn, but more than likely it's about how you've been healing from perhaps the father wound, how that has been a part of this renewal through the subconscious of your mind. For Scorpio risings, Capricorn will be in your 3rd house of communication, of your siblings, your family, the closest people to you. You can even say that it's your chosen family, right? Short-term travel. And it's like that feeling you can't necessarily put words to, that you finally feel. It's not that you have to and it's not that you can put words to it, and that I'm going to try to put words to it. It's more just like you see whatever foundation was, however exciting it is that you have healed the psyche and the psychic part of you that connects to how you move in your life and the reality that you see it collapse. You can see how disheartening it can be sometimes when you're in your reality and there's like that up and that initial stage of inspiration and feeling so great for having learned something, healed something, then you see the collapse of what was, and continuing the motivation and the awareness to understand that moving forward means cultivating what the newer experience is, caring for that new experience, being in environments that support it, putting yourself, because when you're on your phone, even watching this, like your brain can't separate whether this is like right in front of you or not. It thinks you're here with me, right? So learning to nurture, because you're putting yourself into an environment that's in the palm of your hands, right? So allowing your brain some separation from what was, what is out there somewhere but not right exactly where you are physically, will help you, as like mundane as that is to the psyche. And then we're just talking about the psychic. As mundane as that is, it's helping you break free from any control that certain narratives or people had over you. Not that you even knew, because you didn't know. And we talk about that, like, you don't know. It was just that you were in vulnerable places, and now that you're in a more safe, vulnerable place with yourself, you're able to experience the things you've needed to see. Let me just move my leg. You're being able to see the things you've needed to see. Moving forward feels transformative. Speaking your mind, or even moving on things, and being in such deep trust with yourself and with your partnership, or the life that you're leading and the next decision that you want to make, that you've broken free from any mental constraint or that the reactivity to self-sabotage or do something when you don't feel regulated, make a decision out of irregulation, right? And know that this discomfort is actually for the better. That it's actually helping reveal to you. You know when you do something all the time and you focus on it and you're like, wait, what? I don't think this was reversed. I'm sorry. That's what I'm having a problem with. I just can't even remember from picking it up. But it doesn't matter. Either way, the commitment you have to this 10 of Cups here, from 10 of Swords to 10 of Cups, the commitment that you have to that is the most important. Anytime you reach that point where you're feeling reactive, or you're feeling like even victim mentality, right? It only serves for so long, from victim to survivor, from survivor to thriver. If that's your story. I need water. 7 of Wands, so we have 10s and 7s. 7 of Wands to 7 of Swords. You've gone through something so much and yet have been committed to your process that you're finally seeing this pattern mentally, that maybe okay, this is just an example. I can use many, but the first thing that came to mind was food. It's like you're doing so well with, healing yourself, but you still have that mindset of extreme, where your reward for becoming healthier in your body, or healthy with yourself, even healthier with your mind, which is what we're talking about here, is to give yourself something that makes you feel like sick after eating it, or eating too much. And that's the process. It's the process of going from, okay, I would like to shift something, feel better, look better, whatever your personal decision is, and then you go to eating healthier, and then there's that, I restricted so much, now I need to devour this. And then to realize that whatever it is that you're devouring, or whatever it is that you're cheating, right, that cheat meal thing, you realize that it actually makes you feel like hungover. Maybe that's also a part of it. And that's fine. Like, this is, again, just an awareness journey that we're on. And then you realize, like, okay, if rewarding myself means hurting myself, I'm choosing to hurt myself. At least I'm making the conscious decision. Gorgeous. And then all of a sudden you're just wanting to do things that make you feel good. And then, like, every now and then you have things and you know what's going to happen. And you understand what you're doing to yourself. Right? So it's that process of really learning that, and that discipline for moving beyond that last part where it's no big deal, it's one day. Well, it's really two, because you're taking away the next day from you, or however long it takes you to feel better, right? That detox from that experience, and you start all over again. And then you realize, well, how can I have something that doesn't necessarily make it so hard for me to live? And then there's plenty of alternatives, of course, but that was just an example from body awareness and the bridge between that and connecting it to how you want to feel and think about yourself. Because a lot of times what happens when we do that to ourselves is that our emotions go left. And depending on if you're a female and you have hormones, depending on where you're at, and if you're just a person, any person right now, and you're healing and transforming depending on where you're at, that can be a catalyst for the mind to plummet, or for you to go back so far. And it's like that person that's just gonna have, I'm talking about addiction so much, that person that just wants to have that one drink, and then all of a sudden, right, it's not just one drink now. It's just understanding that your nervous system and your capability, because the high priestess is out, we do have the nervous system out here as well, but today Mercury did change, so we're just going to emphasize it. Your nervous system and the structure that you built for yourself, the environment that you're in, isn't able to handle it yet. From your external environment to your soul and your body's environment, right? Your organs environment is your body, if you think about it. Your heart's environment, your senses, your reality, what you're seeing, your perception. And if we're talking about healing from childhood or wherever you grew up and how you experienced that, to work, however you work and whoever you work for, you're in the version of their psyche. Like with your parents, you're in their psyche when you're growing up with them. You were inside of your mother at one point, and then you're around them however so much. But if you're connected emotionally, if you're enmeshed, if you have codependency, or if you're just like connected and you feel that connection, they don't have to be around you to affect you. And then you go to work or you go to school, and then you're in whoever is at the hierarchy. You're in their psyche, because they're the ones making the rules, whether they're making them or not. They're still making a choice. So you're committed to seeing wherever that's disrupted your ability to find or be fulfilled or feel this abundance and enjoy what you're choosing to do day to day. Enjoying this commitment that you're making. Because it seems as though for some of you, it's easier to make a commitment to someone than to this next evolution of yourself. And I think for a lot of you, being on the same page with someone, that's why your relationship, your romantic relationship, your romantic partner, it's always important, but it's so important for you because when you're on the same page, the way you grow together, what can be experienced is so just powerful and just so healing. Like you have to protect that sensitivity in a way that it's not harming you anymore, right? It's when where protection where protection turns in preparation, where protection turns into safety, security, regulation. You no longer have to protect yourself because you're moving off of your instincts and your intuition that you already are so naturally attuned to. And finding that safety, because for some of you, relationship is what brings an intimacy, or family is what brings that higher power, brings you to that soul connection, brings you to a spiritual connection. And that's what this transformation is, and how it's really powerful for you, because you realize that some of you may want to talk about it or write about it. Third house is writing. And it's maybe what is a preface for you for the 7th. On the 7th, Uranus will go into Gemini, and for Scorpio risings, that's in your 8th house. That's deep healing, that's resources, other people, it's how you make money, who you work for, and mental health. And you're just being exposed to where the structures, the foundations internally, and what you've created externally, but like how you feel it, how you feel connected to, again, that abundance in which you've created, all the people around you, the people that support you, your family, your loved ones, how much that whatever material constraint you had on yourself just starts to disintegrate. Whatever Capricorn had over you starts to disintegrate. And you're able to put words to it. You're able to have that feeling. And that brings you to realizing how you've been reactive. Like, this is how we read the cards, right? How you've been reactive to commitment. Even though it's great for you. But you self-sabotage because of how you were conditioned. What you chose to believe. And now you're moving on from that and going towards fulfillment, and you realize the discipline and the heart that takes. That a real life of authenticity and transparency with yourself takes guts, takes power, and an ability, and because you're so competitive, it takes people. Because it's not like you're competitive with those people, but it's like you look around and who you're in your life, you're almost like, wow, like the people I really do connect with are really cool or awesome or great at what they do or really bring something to my life. Like, there's just so much to be joyful and grateful and proud of, and to celebrate. Again, if it's a marriage or if it's an anniversary or just like some kind of celebration, and maybe some of you just like love celebrations and you find a reason to celebrate, even if it's for nothing. Like through this transformation, through this time, maybe you realize like celebration and bringing people together, maybe that's like doing something for a larger group of people. That's why you're transforming, so you can hold space for more people, perhaps, depending on what you do. And even if whatever you're doing now, there could be a transition, a change, or opportunity to bring people together in a way where everyone feels supported. There's just fulfillment, and there's a way where you can then bring this depth of wisdom to life. Because that would be your 9th house, where Cancer is right now for Scorpio risings. And teach and learn. Maybe it's about the psyche, maybe it's about the intuition, maybe there's something that's been trying to get your attention, and it sounds like it is making its way to you, Scorpio. Let's continue to chat about this in the next part. All information to work with me is yes, I said the right thing, is below. My website, payment options, scheduling link, Patreon, TikTok and Instagram, Venusian Wave for everything, absolutely everything, including my website. Check it out, and we'll see you in the next one.